Oh man, it's been so long since I've done one of these. Okay, so you were being paid $100 for every minute you can rant about a specific topic. What do you choose and why? My kids just became Minecraft gazillionaires. Someone help me. I don't get it. I just want a kid so that we can play co-op Minecraft for hours on end. Maybe I should become a big brother or something. Just go play on a family-friendly server. The kids are great and love to show off what they build. If your Reddit username is also your Minecraft username, though, well, that's not going to get whitelisted. IP anus. It's not. It's worse. As someone with over 9.5k hours in Minecraft, modded versions of the game since 1.7 beta, all vanilla before that, I can probably talk for a solid 48 hours straight about features that have been added, changed, removed, and then added again by a mod that was promptly dropped after one version, and a mountain full of hype in the community. I have a problem. Dude, you've played the game for more than the equivalent of an entire year without stopping. Wow, how the fuck do you even have that much time? Been keeping track. There's only accurate up to about 100 hours since some time was lost during 1.2.4. Don't even get me started on the anvil changes. Mending will help somewhat, but it's still a worse mechanic than what we had in 1.7. What I'm going to do with the next $100. This is the best answer because economists will tell you people's wants are unlimited, so you can go on and ad to infinitum. I love studying economics in college because it seemed like the most basic assumptions were always totally false. Hi college, I'm dad. I don't know, it seems like after your first 10 or so impulse buys, you're going to run out of things to say. Insert game title here and all DLC. Isn't there a train simulator that has 4K of DLC available? Oh yeah, that's crazy. People love their train simulators. Come to the dark side of Flight Simulator, where $25 copy of FSX is a very slippery slope that leads to thousands upon thousands of bucks spent on add-ons and controllers. Is FSX still the current version of FS? I had to have gotten the game 6 to 7 years ago. Talk about the evils of student loans for 8.5 hours. Blizzard's balance changes and how they only ever lead to people wanting more balance changes. How many Blizzard's employees does it take to change a light bulb? None, because they can balance the ladder. Because they can't balance the ladder. How many WoW does it take to change a flickering light bulb? None, working as intended. I saw on the BNet loader a few weeks ago an ad for a job opening at Blizzard. In said ad, it stated something along the lines of, all you need is the same drive and passion that we have for Blizzard games. I thought to myself, oh, so my dog is qualified for a job after all. I submitted his resume. I have yet to hear back. Oh, nice. Must be feeling great getting that freeloader off his lazy ass if he gets a job. Obligatory Hearthstone dad jokes. First time hearing of this. Why are Protoss players so good at Grim Patrol? They know how to construct additional pile-ons. Good God, what have I stumbled upon today? Scumbag Blizzard, place me in Silver Ladder and put me against Platinum and Diamond. Really? If you're gonna put me against those players, why not just fucking put me in their ladder? Gotta grind it out to play. Does crying count as time? As an elemental main shaman, I could stop for a while before I even start the rant and then continue sobbing. You guys still exist? I thought shamans only had 2 specs, enhancement and restoration. I just killed Isgar Mythic last night in a raid with 2 elemental shaman, and I was second on the meters, but I Mr. Trash every other fight in the game I want to. I can't read that. No spaces. Blizzard has no concept of subtlety. For them, if something is unbalanced, it's straight to the sledgehammer, with a scalpel, as is what was needed. Alas, I have spent many years face-palming as I read patch notes for Blizzard games. That's how I felt when they nerfed the proc rate of Burning Dogs for Witch Doctor in D3. At launch, the aura from the dogs had a 100% chance to roll whether or not it would proc in effect. If you had a 5% chance to fear an enemy on hit, the dogs had a 100% chance to roll for 5% chance to fear. IIRC, the aura dealt damage twice a second, so the 3 dogs you're rolling 5% chance 6 times a second. Then they changed the proc rate of the aura to 5%. Now dogs have a 5% chance to roll for the 5% chance to fear. Basically meant that the build was rolling 0.25% 6 times a second. It didn't balance the build I was doing, it completely destroyed it. Quit playing shortly after. Okay. Let's see. Inaccuracies about the Middle Ages in modern media, such as films, televisions, and games. Particularly the idealistic, romantic, and/or violent hyper-medievalism presentation. Oh, and the modernity and drag of it all. I'll just basically read my dissertation out loud. It's really cool to see an interest in the outside of academia circles. While I would love to share more of my dissertation, look, I made this, I'm working on it and hope to have it published. If you're really interested in the subject of the presentation of the Middle Ages on film, you might want to read some of the articles that I referenced in it, and I've added links below to them. Let's see. Actually, what would you say is the most accurately depicted Middle Age time period film? Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I don't think he's the one who replied to that. For the uninitiated, the portrayal of the equestrian travel and maintenance as portrayed in the film are considered some of the most accurate to date. You mean where they pounded coconuts together? Let's see. Actually, there's lots of accuracies in it. Terry Jones is a medievalist, and included a bunch of Easter eggs for people who know the period. The scene where they come up to the French castle and ask the French guard to join them on the quest for the Grail. The taunting, that was actual practice during the period. Please be true. Oh, taunting was a real thing. If I had a castle, I would taunt the shit out of people from it. Let's see, care to elaborate, blah, blah, blah. I discuss a lot, so I'll pick one of the theme and I'll talk about it and expand on it a little. Modernity in drag within a medieval film. I'll use Besson's Joan of Arc film, The Messenger. Besson, in telling Joan of Arc's story, instead of keeping solely to the visions, which all historical accurate accounts accept and hold up as the reasons for her actions, he instead injects a violent scene where young Joan sees her village attacked, and her sister raped and murdered in front of her as a catalyst. This is what spurs her into action, giving her a rage-filled sheen to her pious intent, which makes her actions more palpable to the present audience. On top of that, he turns later on in the film the actuality of her hearing/seeing voices into a mental health issue. This was never the case with her, or anyone during her lifetime who claimed to see/hear visions. It wasn't, is this person crazy, which is strictly a relative modern concept, but a religion one. Are these signs sent by God or the devil? Why? Mostly because religious fervor as an active agent isn't wholly accepted/understood by the modern audience, who has with each passing century divorced itself more and more from religion. This is why in her film and other films where religion should be the sole motivator, crusade films, etc., there is always another agent added. Never thought of it like that. Now I really want to see historical accurate portrayal of Joan of Arc, done in a really dark way. I'd watch the hell of a show like that by Netflix or HBO. I would choose to rant about circular logic because it is quite obviously the best choice. If you choose to rant about circular logic, you can just rehash the same thing over and over. Therefore, I would choose to rant about circular logic because it's quite obviously the best choice. Why are you stopping? Because no one is paying him $100 an hour. Holy shit. This is literally the same thing over and over. It's even repeating at the same exact places. Should anyone notice a different sentence in the middle? There's no different sentence in the middle. You son of a bitch. That's just me. Or the typo. You mean the 49 typos? Relevant XKCD. Wait, I should join this honor society to show colleges I'm honorable. And I'm honorable because I'm in an honor society? Basically, yes. Sounds like I could save the time by joining the tautology club directly. That's not a real club. Then I'm starting it. Tautology Club. So, how'd you learn about us? From your Facebook group. If 100,000 people join this group, it will have 100,000 people in it. Listen up. The first rule of Tautology Club is the first rule of Tautology Club. I guess tautology is the circle thing. How having 2 prisons as an area's primary source of income is a fucking terrible idea. I live in a town where there are 7 state prisons. It is the largest employer within the city and the country and the county. I work at an animal shelter, basically as customer service. I could seriously rant for days about poor reasons people surrender, or especially reasons people return animals, and how people never seem to listen to our instructions on giving them a good start to their new homes. Don't get me wrong, plenty of people truly need to surrender and plenty are great adopters, but there are a lot of things I see in notes that make me want to lose faith in humanity. Yeah, I'd rather not read this thread. I know how stupid people can be. The Star Wars prequels. I figured I could make an essay. An easy $48,000 in a day. You can buy plenty of pizza rolls with that. How bad the general population is at driving. You realize that tin can won't protect you. You realize you're not an expert driver. You realize that you're putting everyone at risk by driving like an asshole. I am an attorney who has worked on catastrophic accident cases, including many vehicle crashes. People get absolutely mangled because someone wasn't paying attention. Mothers dies, children are paralyzed, people lose limbs because they don't think they can get hurt. News for you, you can. If you love to drive fast, then find a place where you can do it safely. In a hurry, make a phone call, let them know you'll be a little late. Get a headset, your text can wait. On and off ramps work like a zipper, don't be a dick. Tailgating helps no one. If you live in Southern California, for fuck's sake, stop driving like an asshole when it rains. You don't know what you're doing. Well, it's just more like how people are just stupid in general. An in-law almost rolled his truck in a ditch while texting and driving. He had his infant son in the car with him at the time. What did he take away from the situation? He wouldn't text and drive with his son in the car. Well, at least he's halfway there. Oh my god, yes, I live in SoCal, and I hate when it suddenly starts raining. It's like everyone around me turns into complete morons and driving even faster. Am I the only one who knows about hydroplanting? What's hydroplanting? You gotta drive faster when it rains so you can get off the roads quicker to avoid all the other assholes that don't know about hydroplanting. I live in a place where it rains very sparsely, so it kind of applies to me too. Well, I just generally don't go out and drive if it's raining, or if I do, I go really slow. Officiating in college football. I am now a millionaire. What? My work canteen. Fuckers can't even make a cheese and tomato sandwich right. How is that even possible? There are like 3 ingredients and 1 cooking process. Why nuclear power is currently our best option. I did a report for this in my environmental science class. Basically, the whole reason people don't use nuclear is because of the negative connotations associated to it. With like, oh, what if the nuclear reactor like blows up or something? It's like, yeah, that's a thing, but so far there's only been 2 incidents like that, 3 if you count the tsunami in 2011. One in Chernobyl during Soviet Russia's really lax, terrible regulations where they just did not give a shit. The 3 Islands incident, which made them nuclear plants even safer because they don't want something like that to happen again. The other one was a fucking tsunami hitting a power plant. You can't really do much about that. They're pretty damn safe. As long as you're not living in the 70s in a town called Chernobyl. Shit, I know we probably shouldn't start a discussion here, especially because I know you can rant about it for a while. But what makes it superior to ultimate forms of energy, apart from crazy high efficiency? Well, it has crazy high efficiency, that's why. And it's clean energy, if you don't count the waste, which really isn't all that bad compared to the other options either. Okay, boiling it down. It's superior to coal, natural gas, and oil because of the efficiency and the relatively small quantities of waste. It's currently superior to renewables because the technology is already developed enough to carry 100% of our electrical load. Isn't it true we haven't built a new reactor, talking US, since like the 70s because of public hysteria? Yeah, that's the number one reason we don't have more nuclear power plants, is because of public hysteria. Penn and Teller did an episode of Bullshit where they went into this. Actually, we started building new reactors again, just in the past couple years. There was a period of like 3 decades where no new ones were being built, though. Nuclear power in tectonically and weather-stable areas, no earthquakes, hurricanes, or tornadoes. Nuclear reactors are virtually indestructible. I do, however, agree with no earthquake zones. Even earthquakes aren't entirely terrible with sufficient design, forethought, and fail-safes. Fukushima was a worst-case scenario of an earthquake, a tsunami, flooding, power failures, and a huge hydrogen explosion. This is on top of a corrupt and clearly uncaring plant administration. Even then, the reactor stayed mostly contained, and the total cancer risk for the worst-affected population went up only marginally. Fukushima is an incredible testament to how even a really terrible scenario, nuclear power isn't a catastrophe waiting to happen. Had to read the first sentence a few times. I totally get what you're saying, but lols at the idea of earthquakes being well-designed and forethought. A single well-designed 3.5 earthquake can provide power for cities for weeks. Especially when you compare the number of people who full-on die every year due to mining for and operations of safe coal plants. What about compared to wind solar? How funny how people always make the comparisons when it's never fossil fuels, which anti-nukes advocates point to. See, the problem with wind, solar, and hydropower to some extent is they're terribly inefficient. They do not generate that much power compared to the other ones. Actually, nuclear is also safer than hydro, wind, and solar. Dams can burst, and when they do, a lot of people can die. Wind turbines can catch fire, and a couple of people can die. Those are great too, except for a few problems. All 3 of those have geographic components, not so much with nuclear, especially if thorium reactors work as suspected. 2 of those are inherently intermittent, meaning that they have to have capacity significantly above demand in viable power storage systems, or need to have supplementary power generators, such as natural gas most often. Neither of those is really a problem for nuclear, which has a comparable cost and better than solar and offshore wind. It was literally the strongest earthquake to hit Japan in all of recorded history. Yeah, we had an earthquake here recently. It was a tiny one, though. Never actually had an earthquake before. It was weird. I wondered why the house was shaking a little bit. I was like, wait, is someone coming into the garage or something? No, this is probably a little earthquake, but we don't have earthquakes. I just kind of forgot about it. And then I saw on the news that, yeah, we had a little earthquake. I'll tell you the rules to Calvin Ball. Calvin Ball is also the best answer to the question. Which sport would you best be capable of pretending to be a professional at? The popularization of America, online and in person, police versus the rest, religion versus not, race versus race, man versus woman, teachers versus students, how early it is being taught historical differences, how to depersonalization of the internet, encourages and strengthens it and enhances confirmation bias, not to mention traditional media. I figure I'm good for realistically about $4,500. The polarization of America. Oh, I read that wrong. The discography of legendary Canadian progressive rock band Rush. I could talk about them for at least 20 minutes. Who Archie is really in love with, Betty or Veronica? The answer is obviously neither. He's actually secretly in love with Ethel. Ethel. Hipsters and how people perceive and define them. I perceive hipsters as people who base their sense of self-identity on the art they consume, or the style they affect. When they find a cool band, etc., that is not well known, their ego says, I am a finder of great and unique music. I am an enjoyer of X band. When other people discover that band, their ego says, this is an attack on my self-identity. I am no longer a unique individual as my peers now share my taste in art, which is how I define myself. As a defense mechanism, I will be smug as fuck and act like my peers are inferior, and move on to the next thing to retain my sense of uniqueness. Thoughts? Agreed. Also, I believe a hipster will endure listening to some really shitty music, watch really crappy videos, and buy idiotic art, just so they can feel or look unique, interesting, different, superior, like Ringo being your favorite Beatle. That's a pretty good way to describe hipsters. I can legit bitch about Dota 2 for 24 hours. OS Frog, Lib Balance, Gringer, Ranger, OS Frog. You leave my ginger arrow lady out of this. I could bitch about how you guys get all the good prize pools for 48 hours CSGO. I'm the same with LOL. Mandatory LOL is greater than Dota. Oh, so Dota 2 is greater than LOL? Great fact you stated there. Well played. I have 3,600 hours logged into that game and countless more between watching streams, tourneys, and playing Dota 1. I think I could rant about the mechanics, changes, professional scenes for about 100 hours and still have more to go. I can bitch all of my teammates' mistakes for the last 24 hours. Seriously, fucking heart support, Puck. What? That's not even possible. This anti-vaccination movement that is going on. This has got to be the dumbest, most misinformed, self-destructive group of morons that has ever graced this planet. Yeah, you'd think. There's dumb people in every age. Healthcare in the U.S. Science and the mysteries of the universe. As long as I have alcohol, I'm sitting on a gold mine. Just last night I got drunk with friends and ranted about this very topic for nearly 4 hours. U.S. politics. Could spend an hour of these issues with any of the below. Electoral college, gerrymandering, Haskett rule, non-attendance filibusters, primaries, etc. Non-attendance filibusters are a thing? Could spend an hour on filibusters. Amateur. Legal engines. I can rant and rave about them for 1,000 years. I'd start with why GMOs are not the devil and how mankind has altered the genetics of our food since the first time we put a seed in the ground. Then I'd finish it off on a lesson in genetically modified organisms are part of our daily lives and help us and people that we love survive. I could get at least a year of tuition out of that rant. Myself. Yep, this one. I need a therapist. As a recent college grad, I can go on for a long time about the education system. Everything from inflated book prices, to tuition, to apathetic professors, to schedules, to universities, policies, to parkings. School is just a huge waste of time. But the little piece of paper you get at the end of it is pretty valuable. And has great bragging rights to it. Plus, it's absolutely needed for a lot of jobs. Fucking parking, though. I pay $25,000, then have to pay another $8 a semester for a commuter parking pass to maybe have the possibility of it not fully full of parking in the commuter lot, which happens to be on the other side of the surface of the sun. And it's super handy if you want to park on a campus because it's no effect on metered spots and bumps the hourly rate down by 10 cents. A parking ticket is $10, and I can't tell you how many times I've just taken the ticket because it's the same price or cheaper, as well as much easier. And if you don't have your parking permit displayed within a 1 mm to where they want it, you have a letter from the Pope, the pass is invalid, and they give you a ticket. Yeah, you're correct. I could do this for a while. What bullshit it is that the Star Wars EU is no longer canon. Oh man, there are two kinds of people. The ones that realize the EU was utter shit for 90% of the time, and the ones obsessed with the amazing other 10%. The Han Solo books were ridiculous, and you know it. Expanded universe. I could do my rant on the people that don't realize the canon is in a better place now. And that the 6 movies in the TCW isn't all there. Rebels is adding a lot. Everyone likes to act like Courtship is some awesome novel too. As if 3PO composing a song about Han is totally fine plot point. Courtship was terribly written and a bad story. Bad is the only word. Bad story, bad writing, bad use of existing characters, just bad. Granted, but countering with 2 words, Admiral Thrawn. Yes, but for every awesome character like Thrawn or Maldor the Ultimate, you have 1,000 crappy ones like Mission Vow or Josie Borach. Let's be real here, 95%. Also, the fact that Boba Fett survived was dumb as shit. There were 2 Han Solo trilogies. One was terrible, the other one was amazing. That could very well be true. I've never actually read them. And I just start playing KOTOR. Really? Blah, blah, blah. How the nostalgia craze is destroying nostalgia. Nostalgia was better back in the good old days. How the dating world is becoming more and more of a blood sport. And it's really a shame that the guy below me deleted his comment. There was a really interesting and informative conversation that followed after. Oh, yes. You have no friends in the dating world. Not if they're single, too. I'm reminded of this quote from How I Met Your Mother. Marshall, you said to me that being single would be like being in a candy store. Well, it's not like a candy store. It's a lawless post-apocalyptic wasteland. The dichotomy of good and evil. I had to look that word up. Thanks for making me smarter today. Dichotomy. There's a Yu-Gi-Oh card called Pot of Dichotomy. I don't know how to really pronounce it correctly, to be honest. Let's see. A division or contrast between two things that are or represent as being opposed or entirely different. Yeah. Double speak in UK and USA, both in employment and society, and how it creeps in everywhere. I hate white noise so much, and there is so much of it literally everywhere. I mean, sometimes people say literally everywhere when you see something quite often, but this is the epitome that is literally everywhere. I used to laugh at George Carlin's material and language. It's stuff from the 90s, and now when I watch it, an eerie feeling, like we're all about to get fucked in the ass by invisible Peter Pan's shadow. What? Wearing socks in the bath. What? Star Wars. I love Star Wars more than pretty much most things in life, and I'll talk about it with you for 2 hours over beers if you're down. Parenting styles. That it is okay to enjoy both Marvel and DC movies and shows. It seems like you have to enjoy one and hate the other. Both are enjoyable, and you won't be punished for enjoying both. If not that, how only people with Nelson boxes matter to a show's ratings, and if it gets renewed or not. Copyright. Old laws don't always fit the present day, and this topic makes my blood boil. Oh, the Disney copyright stuff. Ugh. The filthy scumbags that are roaming Germany streets these days. They call themselves concerned citizens, Democrats, and whatnots. These lunatics are Nazis. You German? Yes. The U.S. government. I know it's kind of cheating, but I feel like I have a solid day in me for how we screwed up our education, energy, individual rights, security, military entitlements, healthcare, and probably by that time I got at least another week's worth of issues. This one's for the Laker fans. The Lakers front office right now. Tabletop games. If you want more specifics than Dungeons and Dragons, I could literally talk for months on it if I didn't need sleep. I'm the type of person that has memorized all the player's handbooks since 2nd edition. This includes the spells, all class tables, very small rules, feats, even the different pantheons from different settings and different editions. I could rant for hours on just one class from one edition. Like the Bard from the 5th edition from just the PHB, not including the new Sword Coast Adventure Guide material. Holy Mother of God, what an update to that class with other additions. There are now full casters that can rival wizards in spell power. They outright beat sorcerers in nearly every way. Oh, bards? Which is kind of sad, but that's a different topic. They learning healing spell, still, and healing word is pretty great. They have some crazy new ability to take any spell from any class multiple times. They get expertise like the rogue. If you play a half-elf College of Lore bard, you have proficiency in 8 skills of your choice and 2 from your background. That's 10, which is over half the list. There are 18 skills total. The only war you could have any more is if you were a half-elf rogue that multi-classed to 3 levels of bard or took the feat skilled, which this bard could also do to push it up to 13, 18, and the ones you aren't proficient in you have rounded down. Your proficiency bonus and because jack of all trades. And for 4 of those 8 at level 10, the proficiency bonus is doubled because of expertise. Okay, this is kind of hard to read. I'm just gonna end it here. Holy shit, I get it. Bards are pretty good now. That's it.